FORA.tv. The world is thinking.
So why do the title and the stature matter? Why is marriage significant? Why isn't domestic partnership good enough? Well, obviously, the first thing, and I mentioned it earlier, is really what I call the universal understanding of marriage. And that is, when you're married and you tell somebody you're married, you don't have to explain yourself. Everybody knows what it means. It garners immediate respect. People believe it's associated with loyalty and fidelity. And it's a very powerful message that is summed up in one word. There's also other words associated. You know when people are married that their families are joined, so that you can refer to a spouse's siblings as your brother-in-law or sister-in-law, your mother-in-law, your father-in-law. Those things are well understood. There's a lot of tradition. Marriage is steeped in tradition. And if you look at domestic partnership or civil unions, there's no universal understanding of those things. People don't know what flows from that. There's no terminology. There's no real history because they're pretty much brand new. And another way of looking at it is, how do the children of same-sex couples, how are they to feel when their parents can't get married and their friends' parents can? Is there something wrong with them? Is there something wrong with their parents? Is there something wrong with their families? Whose fault is it? Because that's how children think about things. So last, I want to just quickly talk a little bit about what the Supreme Court held, the California Supreme Court. It looked at earlier cases involving the constitutional right to marry, which had been recognized in a number of contexts. Cases holding that prisoners can't be denied the right to marry. Cases holding that people who don't pay child support for their children they already have can't be denied the right to marry. Cases that held that interracial couples cannot be denied the right to marry. And what the court said is, well, what is it about marriage that held the courts in some of these earlier cases to say there is a constitutional right that's protected here? What are the attributes of marriage that make it a constitutionally protected right in these other contexts, and how might that apply here? And the court identified four things, four attributes. One, the right to choose whether to enter the relationship at all. Two, the right to choose with whom one will enter into the relationship. Three, the right to have the relationship sanctioned legally by the government. And fourth, the right to have one's legally sanctioned family relationship treated with the same dignity and respect that all other family relationships are accorded. And the court, in the end, after it looked at those attributes and looked at the treating same-sex couples with a different stature and a different title, and holding marriage aside for heterosexual couples only, held that denying that title and stature and relegating same-sex couples to a different name didn't provide all of those attributes, and most particularly didn't give equal dignity and equal respect to their relationships, and was likely to lead any sort of uninvolved observer to conclude that there is something different about same-sex relationships and about gay people in general, and it's a less than, a less worthy, a less good thing. And that didn't meet constitutional standards.